The Los Angeles Chargers seemed unstoppable in their division after defeating their rivals, the Denver Broncos, 23-20 in LA. They are now leading their division with a 3-0 start to the season, which begs the question, are they one of the top contending teams in the AFC? And do we need to have a conversation about Bo Nix's sophomore season?
Who wants to take this first? Because I'm not. I don't really have too much. I'm very simple with this. Bo Nix has always been ass, and he's gonna be ass. That nigga sucks. He fucking sucks, and like he just sucks. Like, I'm sorry. And then the Chargers beat 3 bad teams. So congrats to the Chargers. Justin Herbert has not gotten any better. They're just doing what the fuck they supposed to do and should been have doing. So congratulations, y'all want to get hype off of the national media spotlight games. Those are cool, but Herbert and them ain't doing nothing that much different. The Raiders are an absolute dumpster fire. Their O-line is terrible. The Broncos, this is a division game. They're going to play it tough, but they still the Broncos, and they got a terrible QB. And the first game of the season, I don't even remember who the fuck the Chargers played, but I know that they were not Chiefs. Good. Like, come on, man. The Chiefs, it's the first game of the Chiefs. Like, we all know that the Chiefs are in that zone now where take them 5-6 games to get it together, and then they're playing for the playoffs. So, not feeling it.
That was a hell of a game time pass, though, Q.
It was. Yeah. It was definitely and I'm not saying Herbert is not like talented. I had him in the top 10. He's top 10 quarterback, clearly. But stop.
Yeah, well, my thing is this, right? Like, for all of these years with their former head coach before Jim Harbaugh joined the LA Chargers, I was talking about it's not a talent disparity with the Chargers. It was situational football. And even though Herbert threw an interception in that game, he threw 47 times, which is not ideal, especially in a Jim Harbaugh type of offense. It, again, situationally, he's so much head and shoulders above the majority of the head coaches in the league that you're right, Q. It's not that Herbert didn't have the ability. They just got L's in these situations. And now they're getting W's in these situations. And it bodes well because when you look at the defense, they're flying around looking like they got a new lease on life. The offense drafted a running back that had a pretty decent day yesterday with a touchdown on 19 carries. So all that being said, when I look at the Denver Broncos, honestly, I'm not that worried. Now, here's the thing, right? Like with Bo Nix, I've been on the Bo Nix bandwagon, but not because I think that he's going to be the greatest quarterback to ever play. I think Bo Nix is super solid. I think you could win with Bo Nix. And the same thing that we're kind of seeing with Jaden Daniels. I know he was injured, so he didn't. Did he play this past week? No, right?
No, he didn't.
But we saw him in that first game. This is year 2. They got tape. You know what I'm saying? These defensive coordinators are really damn good. And these defensive players, old, young, or somewhere in between, they are dynamic. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm not worried about Bo Nix. I'm not worried about the Broncos. I think that they're going to be a viable team. I think that they could potentially make a wild card just like they did last year. I think the Chargers are cream of the crop in the AFC West at the moment. I also agree with you, Q, where the Chiefs is laissez-faire. You know what I'm saying? When they pick it up and they turn on that light switch, they'll be all right. And like I said last week, they're going to get better. Leaps and bounds? No, but they're going to get guys that can go make plays for them in the next couple of weeks. So I'm not worried long-term about the Chiefs. I also said, even though I picked them to win the division because I'm not betting against Mahomes and Andy Reid, but I also said that I can see them not winning the division this year, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to make another Super Bowl run. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about neither one of those 3 teams in the AFC West. They're fine.
Bo Nix had a guy wide open. I mean, running down the sideline, bro. He was out, and it wasn't even close. it just dropped right in front of him.
Right. Bo Nix had a touchdown to number 19. I forget who it was, and then he had another one to someone else that looked like it was Sutton or whatever. And the game came down to 3 point or 1 possession. That's the game right there. And that's why, to me, every time Luke goofy ass was talking about the Broncos, I'm like, does he not know who played quarterback for him? Like, my thing is, like, when you talk about a team, bro, the first two things that you talk about when you talk about the highlights of the team, one of the two have to be the quarterback for us to take them seriously. When you talk about the Broncos, you just talk about that defense and Sean Payton. Most other teams, you talking about Kansas City Chiefs, you talking about what? You talking about FIFA? Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Shit, even the Eagles, you talking about what? Jalen Hurts and Saquon or AJ Brown, whatever.
Are we really talking Jalen Hurts like that?
Yeah, we talking about the two highlights of the team. Yeah, when you go, nonetheless, like they've proven that they can win a title and get past the first round, which the Broncos have not proven with Bo Nix.
But so y'all acting like people are asking Bo Nix to be John Elway or Peyton Manning, and they're not. Like, he's just going to be like what y'all explaining him as an average QB who's a second-year QB on a rookie contract with a defense like that, and a coach is going to the Hall of Fame. He should be able to pull off stuff to get them deep into playoff rounds, if not to a Super Bowl run. Yeah, no one's asking him to be.
That's asking talented. A lot, bro. You can't ask an average nigga to do great shit.
No, you asking him to be average.
Bo Nix is in his second year. Bo Nix is in his second year, and he's 26 years old. Like, what are we talking about? Like, he's 2 years. He's 2 years. He's 2 years younger.
Somebody on the Raiders bench that they gave a shot last year for 4 games. He played a whole season, and his team went to the playoffs. Like, what are we talking about?
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not even. That's why I said the thing about the Broncos to me, I don't give a fuck about Bo Nix. I always told you because I know what Bo Nix is. I knew he was coming out of college. He ain't shit. It's all been about Sean Payton and all that shit that he was doing when he was cussing out Russell Wilson, kicking his ass off the team, and then saying I can do better with this dude. And I'm like, bro, you only scored 7 points in the playoff game that you're supposed to be an offensive guru. You can't even score over 20 points on a Chargers defense who was giving them opportunities. If you watch that game, Lou, I know you watched the short version of it on NFL Talk. They had hell of opportunities to win that game. If Bo Nix was that nigga, it was at 1 out of the 4 times that he could have proved that. He did not. Justin Herbert had to show up out of nowhere and just be like, all right, fuck it, I'll take the game. So to me, it's just like, bro, what are we talking about here, bro? Like, it's like the Broncos defense is only going to take them so far. And then on top of that, you're asking him to win you a Super Bowl as an average QB when he's going to have to face either Patty, Lamar, Allen, Herbert, and that's just 4 that he may have to. Like, he may have to face 2 out of the 3 out of the 4, 2 out of the 4. Either way, he's facing somebody that's better than him twice over. So that's why I don't believe in the Broncos.
To me, he white Justin Fields, bro. Like we just doing a lot. I think he's that tier QB. He's literally Justin Fields.
Dang.
I think he's the middle class Brock Purdy.
Shit, Brock Purdy is already
comparisons.
Yeah, Brock won. Okay.
I agree with y'all on all of those comparisons. I think that Sean Payton and their defense is what's going to elevate Denver to be able to win that division. I'm not knocking y'all on the Bo Nix shit. I get that. But what they should be able to do with that defense and a coach like Sean Payton in that division is at least get to a divisional or conference final round.
You keep saying that like Sean Payton.
I don't see it, man. I think
Sean Payton not better than Zach Taylor.
No, not recently.
Get the fuck out of here.
What is Sean Payton showing you recently? Hey, what is this? What sport are we talking about? What sport are we talking about? We talking about football. Football is what have you done for me lately? If Q and Shelton have been asking, is Jalen Hurts better than Joe Burrow based off what they have seen lately? Then I can definitely ask, what the fuck is Sean Payton doing up here talking about? He's doing this.
But we know the answer that Jalen Hurts is nowhere near Joe Burrow. The same way that's
not the
Zach
answer.
Taylor's
People, you can't say that anymore. we'll get to that later. But you can't. How you saying that?
Okay.
18-0.
Look, I give Jalen Hurts his props for what he is.
Let's get back.
He has limitations, but at the end of the day, Sean Payton is a better head coach than Zach Taylor.
Put it lightly, yeah.
I'm just saying, when was the last time Sean Payton won a playoff game? Let's start there.
Right.
Can we start there?
That's what
I'm saying.
I'm just saying, like,
you saying that like he had some great system already set up. He went to Denver. They had nothing. And now they're competing. You just told me that they went to the playoffs last season, and you also told me that they're going to go to the playoffs this year, and you expect them to do better this year than they did last year.
So that's what I'm saying. What the fuck is you talking about? when you have expectations, and when you see Bo Nix should be 0-3. Let's keep it a bean. Granted, you could probably argue that Colts game. You could argue that Colts game, but that Titans game, I watched that Titans game, and they snuck out of there with the win, and not because of Bo Nix.
They won.
To me, the defense is cool. I mean, Pat Surtain is all world. Clearly, to me, the 1A cornerback in the NFL. But for me, Bo Nix, it leaves so much to be desired from the quarterback position. Right. And I don't really know if that is the type of player that can even get you to what you're expecting, conference finals. Everyone's trying to give him Josh Allen comparisons because Josh Allen was a train wreck his first 2 years. But I think Josh Allen was significantly younger, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe he was already 26. He's 2 years younger than Herbert. You know what I'm saying? And this is Herbert's, 4th, 5th season? So it's like we already have tape, and, the trend is not very kind to quarterbacks that are already on the other side of 25 when they're in their second, third season. Normally guys grow into that role. The limitations with the arm, the ball placement, you're going to be leaning on Surtain in that defensive front if you're going to try to do anything. And to me, that just screams bridge QB. And I think we're going to be back here with Denver in a couple seasons talking about who should they take in the top 10 or should they trade up type shit,
What about the Chargers?
They might get Mac Jones.
Okay, you know me. The Chargers, 2 words: John Harbaugh. That's what it is. That's the difference, bro. I think. Or my bad. Sorry, we're gonna talk about John, but yeah, Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh comes in and he does things like he fills in the void of what people like Anthony Lynn and coaches like Anthony Lynn, because of their inexperience, can't do. So with Herbert, there's certain mental mistakes that you're trying to, train out of him. You're trying to show him on film when you're talking, going through walkthroughs. There's certain things that you have as a coach in your arsenal when you are Jim Harbaugh that in that upper tier, you prepare your quarterback and you show him how to prepare, and the staff that you bring with you shows him how to prepare. And I think that's ultimately going to be the difference is, FIFA is 100% right in the fact that it's all about situations. That last playoff game against the Texans where it was just Lab McConkey and nobody else coming along with him. I think that was Jim's first year with the Chargers.
That was his first year, yeah.
So this is now our second year. We've had a full calendar to be able to be around each other, fully integrate. And now with a full year of integration, I think that we'll see what Herbert's talent should be. And I think that now is when I'm going to be interested to see if the bad Herbert comes out, are we all going to place that squarely on Herbert, or are people going to be looking at Jim? And I think that, in my opinion, if we see bad Herbert, that's got to be on Herbert.
That has to be on Herbert.
It should be, but it's not. It won't be.
It'll be 3 coaches by then, bro.
No, you're right. No, I'm saying I agree with you, Nick. It should be, but they already building him up to be the greatest thing walking. They're putting him on the same tier as an Allen and a Jackson. But they're already doing it.
But my thing is, and Lou, don't forget your point. My thing is, though, we've seen Herbert be in a hardball system. Like last year in that Texas game, but there was no reason they should have lost that game. You can only blame the quarterback who threw 4 picks. And I know 2 of them, like you mentioned, 2 of them they tried to excuse, but he still threw 2 more. So It's just kind of like outside of that, Harbaugh has a really simple game plan, bro. I run the ball and I play good defense. Everything else is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just know what the media is. They're trying to spin it, which, I was a fan of Herbert. I was always a fan of his early, but now that he's playing well, when the ugly parts of his game show itself, they make excuses for him. They always have. And I don't too much like that. Either it is or it ain't. You can't keep making excuses for it. When he doesn't play well, say it.
Question for you, Shelton, and real quick, Spike. Do you think that they could do that with a name brand coach like Harbaugh there?
I do, because they're already trying it, Ken. Because right now, how we give Harbaugh credit for what's going on now, most people don't. All you seeing, if you look on in social media, anywhere you look, everybody's talking about Herbert like he's always been this. He's this, he's that, he's this. they're ranking him high. They're not talking about his coaching coming in there and bringing out the best of his talent. He's super talented. We know that. But football, that's only half the battle. You got to have it between the ears to get it done in this league. And when it matters most, I'm yet to see him do that. And I've seen him excuse more than they have promote him. So
that speaks to the point that Q and Nick were making in the sense of how good Harbaugh is, though. And also the point that Ken was making and having a name brand coach. What Harbaugh is going out of his way to do is to say that Herbert, he said, I think in the newspaper, in the news recently, he was like, oh, this is the best quarterback I've ever coached. And also for him to say, oh, he was getting his ass kicked this Sunday and he didn't break a smile. Like his face was the same the whole way through. For someone like Harbaugh to say that about you is going to give you more credibility in the media than you had with Anthony Lynn or whatever the other coach that they had before then. Like they didn't get behind him like Harbaugh is getting behind him, and Harbaugh has the cliche to be able to say like, oh no, he that dude. And now a lot of people are listening to that narrative since Harbaugh was saying it, and that's what's getting him a lot more leeway this season. I do think he's a good quarterback, but I think being able to learn under Harbaugh and understanding how to be an elite quarterback, that's going to go a long way. And he's going to keep pumping him up with the name brand of, I'm one of the best coaches that ever did it. So if I'm one of the best coaches that ever did it, and I keep talking him up, y'all going to look at him in a certain way, as to Nick and Q's point.
All right. Well, there we have it. The Chargers are off to a hot start. Denver is struggling early, but it's still early. We're 3 weeks in the season. It's a long way to go. A lot of things can happen. So we'll leave it